Winnipeg is back in the big leagues and over the moon.
Welcome to the Landing Strip with Nick Lynham and Mikey Garcia, presented by From Financial.
Welcome back to the Landing Strip, brought to you by From Financial after a big Game 2 performance from the Winnipeg Jets, winning this one 4-0. Mikey, how you doing, my boy?
Oh, I think there's only one way to tell everybody how I'm doing.
Give it to us. Give it to us.
At the game tonight, too.
Oh, Zach Skrtel made an appearance. We are so fucking back.
Doing back-to-back. Game 2 gets 2 Squirtles.
Hey, we hit 500 on YouTube. Let's bring that Squirtle energy. Thank you to the chat. Thank you all for the support. Let's ride. It's a Friday night. Let's ride.
Woo!
Let's go. 1-1 series. Heading back into Dallas. Mikey, you went to the Sack Squirtle. How are you doing tonight?
Man, I don't know how you can't just be absolutely elated watching that game. That was everything you want out of the Winnipeg Jets. All the things that we know are possible from this group, we got to see on display for the most part tonight. It was absolutely wonderful. Some great lineup decisions, absolute dominant work from the MVP. There's so much to talk about. I can't wait to dive in. I'm absolutely hyped. That was great.
Oh, man. I was close on the prediction going into this. I was telling everyone around me. My boy Zaz is in the background here. We got a live audience, can confirm. I was predicting a 4-1 game. I'll take the shutout. My big takeaway. Sorry, Mikey. I'm even getting in front of you here. My goat is back. Connor Hellebuck, absolutely massive performance. Nick Ehlers, welcome to playoff hockey. But let's get into this regular show. Mikey, What was your big takeaway after this one?
That I think Scott Arniel must have heard our suggestions for the lineup, because, man, did he go right to what we thought they needed to do to be successful against Dallas in Game 2. That third pairing looked absolutely phenomenal tonight. That is exactly what you want from those guys. They were skating. They were being able to move the puck. I think there was a few times the forwards were actually surprised to get the puck in transition. They went, wait, what the fuck? I didn't think this was allowed. They brought back the no forward pass. Like, it was wonderful. It was absolutely great to see the way that Miller and Fleury were able to come together. Again, two guys that haven't really played together this year, coming in pretty cold and putting together a real nice performance. Not a lot of big gaffes, maybe a couple slip-ups here and there, but overall I thought they had a great game together. I've become a big Colin Miller stan, so I'm glad that he's been able to carve out a role, and it was just, it was real nice to get to see the Jets play with the ability to have the puck in transition.
Yes, it's definitely this was a statement. This was the Winnipeg Jets playing Winnipeg Jets hockey, and it starts with a great start. Welcome back, Josh Morrissey. Draws that power play right off the bat. They go to the 4-minute power play. And Gabe Vilardi, we had some concern. We did our live show last night, and there were some concerns in the chat with Nick Ehlers and Gabe Vilardi at this point. And I was saying, hey, patience. There were some things to build off in that third period that were showing signs that both guys might break through. Gabe Vilardi gets on the board in the first power play. So the power play notches one. Gabe Vilardi gets his first of the year. And then, hey, assisted by some puck luck, but when you're creating offense and skating like Nick Ehlers is, you deserve a 3-point night. That was a bit of a match to Mikko Rantanen last game. Nick Ehlers, welcome to playoff hockey. I thought the Jets' top line was great in this one again. And my GOAT, my Winnipeg Jets GOAT, that man is back. You want to be excited about something? And I see Pierogies. My boy Pierogies11 in the chat saying, I want to hype Helly. Unreal performance, but we need to see some action on the road. And hey, it's coming. That guy is dialed. I got a text from Sills. I don't know if he's in the chat yet tonight, that apparently on the broadcast there was a TV timeout where they showed Hellebuck talking to Comrie and Hellebuck saying, I'm back, baby. And that was the guy. We saw him mixing in that big and boring with some athleticism and some big saves that I don't know which one I like more right now. We're going to be watching some of those on the highlight reel.
Yes, sir.
Scott Arniel clearly listening to the show and even wanted to shut me down by, I said, I don't think it's going to happen. We get the third pair. Colin Miller brings a little bit of edge, a little bit of puck movement, a little bit of stretch passing that we don't see from that Luke Shen option. Hayden Fleury's had the 3 games of his life at this point for a former first rounder that's kind of traveled the league. Steady again in this one. Neil Pionk and Dylan Sandberg doing Neil Pionk and Dylan Sandberg things. Pionk's all over Rantanen early. I love to see him get physical with a guy twice his size like that. Great to have Josh Morrissey back. But I got to say, you know who stood out for me on the back end today? You know who was the unsung hero?
Who's that?
This might have been one of Dylan DeMello's best games in a Winnipeg Jets jersey. Yeah. Dylan DeMello was sound in this one. He was stepping up into the play. He was making the right move. Is that Leslie boy back? Oh, we're getting a dog appearance. Adam Larry. Adam Larry reads that shot from Dylan DeMello perfect off the back wall, gets to it before anyone's even thinking about to bury. Oh, man, just a lot to like today, man. A lot to like from the Winnipeg Jets.
And how about Dylan Sandberg, since we're focusing on the defense here just real quickly? I thought that was one of the, especially the first half of the game, that was maybe one of the better playoff games we've seen from Sandberg, who's had a great start to these playoffs. Choices right out of, man, this guy, Choices TK over on Twitch. He knows me. Sandberg absolute nails again tonight. It's true.
Hey. I got to say, this was one of those games, and this is one of those shows. I have my misses, and people make sure to let me know when I have my misses, and that's the beauty of content. If you want to get a little preview of today, I think I nailed quite a bit of stuff yesterday. Nick Ehlers, Gabe Velarde, let's have some patience, and patience was worth it. And I said Dylan Sandberg was going to have a night. You got to be happy with the Winnipeg Jets and where their game's at and where this series is at. Yes, it's leaving this Winnipeg 1-1. But this is a series that if they got some better puck luck in game one,
Yep.
this could easily be a 2-0 series. You got it. As much as the road's been a problem, I think with the brand of hockey and the brand of stylistic matchup between Dallas and Winnipeg here, this isn't the St. Louis Blues.
No.
The St. Louis Blues pounded the piss out of the Winnipeg Jets and made them respond. This isn't that brand. There is so many seams for a team that's so good in their system and likes to play with flow. This series is opening up for their style of game. And despite the road struggles for St. Louis, I don't think that's coming in this series. Based on what I've seen through 2 games, I firmly believe the Winnipeg Jets are the better team in this series. An important aspect, getting Josh Morrissey back before Miro Heiskanen, you got to take these games. As long as Heiskanen is out and you have the advantage on the back end now, these are important matchups. But coming out of this one, I can't help but feel good about the Winnipeg Jets odds the rest of this series. It's a 1-1 series. We're moving to Dallas. I'm calling a split at this point, and we're coming home with a best of 3. But I think the type of statement that the Winnipeg Jets showed today, their best players being the best players on the ice, responding to a frustrating W where their coach called them out with a shutout. Defensively, pretty sound, but Connor Hellebuyck still made the big saves he needed to make.
Huge.
Dispelling the notions of, the system. Where's T. Will at? T. Will better get in here. He's talking about this system goalie. I just watched a goalie make saves outside of the system to keep this one where it was at. From the last second save on Robertson in the first period to keep this 2-0. After Neil has a bit of a brain fart that I couldn't believe that late in a period. I could believe it, let's be honest. The side to side, the backhand swipe that ends up hitting the post, but he read that. There is so much to build off of going into game 3 that let's see where this goes, but you got to feel good in Winnipeg. And the vibes in downtown, the vibes in that arena, the vibes leaving that arena, this city's feeling it. The whole we believe shit is not just a saying. I believe the Winnipeg Jets are the better team in this series. And through 2 games, despite the 1-1 series lead, come on.
Yeah. I'm not nearly as worried going into Dallas as I was going into St. Louis. It's a completely different look. St. Louis, like you said, wanted to pound the shit out of the Jets. Dallas wants to skate with them. Dallas wants this to be a track meet. And if we're going to ice this lineup, fuck it. Let's go. Let's go for the track meet because I think we'll take at least one of those games in Dallas. Yeah, they may get another kind of, fluky. I don't want to say fluky, but a game where things kind of don't go the Jets' way, maybe all the way, and Dallas gets one of those. But if the Jets put in a performance like this, if they get a performance like this from Hellebuyck again, they're gonna crush Dallas in one of those games minimum. So, yeah, I'm excited for how it's going to look if we get to see this lineup iced in Dallas.
I honestly think this game should ease some concerns as well, where I know our guy, Winnipeg Ball Hockey, was having some trouble last night, and I'm sure he'll be tuning in at some point, about the idea that we lost a game where Helly was solid. I thought Ottinger was pretty solid in this one. He made some big saves in this one, and the Jets were still able to beat him 4 times. Yeah. If you're looking at this series, again, I'm not the biggest Jake Ottinger guy. But you just won a game 4-0 where I thought Jake Ottinger did what he could to keep the Dallas Stars in it. Let's talk about a little narrative shift leaving this one compared to yesterday. I didn't understand the therapy sessions. Like, I love to host a good therapy session. I didn't understand it leaving game 1. I thought there was a lot of encouraging signs that the Winnipeg Jets system and their top guys are going to get the time and space that they thrive through. And we saw that shine through tonight. The lack of aggression from Dallas, I think, plays really well into the areas of the ice that the Winnipeg Jets really are strong at. Obviously, a couple breakdowns that lead to quality chances, but you got to give Dallas some credit. The top of their lineup's going to create chances every single night. There's some real star power in that group, but I thought defensively to keep them to, 22, 23 shots in this one, still a great effort despite some of the quality. Hellebuck's going to make big saves, and we saw it today. But what the Winnipeg Jets were creating, and I know Kishore, and Stovey's right, going to be a long series. I'm still on board that this is going to be a 6-7 game showdown. We're going to enjoy the vibes tonight. We're going to have some fun with this show tonight. But I'm still with Stovey over on YouTube that this is going to be a long series. This is going to be a competitive series.
Yep.
But the Winnipeg Jets and how they look to create, they're going to have that time and space and those seams that weren't necessarily there versus St. Louis, that if they could pile on the quality looks that we saw today, you're going to beat Jake Ottinger. He's not the superhero Frank Saravelli and all those meatheads want you to believe that he's going to be the U.S. starter. He's God's gift to the world. That is not Jake Ottinger. He's capable of being a quality goaltender. Yep. He's not this Superman that we've seen Connor Hellebuck actually be for years and looks to be back. But
who scares you more in a playoff run, Jake Ottinger or Jordan Binnington?
Honestly, Jordan Binnington scares me a bit more than Jake Ottinger.
I agree with that, to be honest. So, I'm not even that worried about Ottinger. He'll put in good games. He'll steal some for Dallas. But at the end of the day, I'm betting on Hellebuck 10 out of 10 times.
Good to see you, big guy. But I want to talk about, because obviously the power play was a discussion early on or after game one. And what we saw right off the bat was just beautiful to my eye. We saw that movement back. We saw guys switching spots. Yep. And on that Gabe Vilardi goal, I want to highlight something because I know Kishore from our chat had brought up the idea that the Dallas Stars are so aggressive on their PK at the top towards the blue lines. And you saw that in that first 5-on-4. They were trying to pressure the flank, and they were really pressuring Josh Morrissey. And we saw some iffy plays early on. And then we saw them going to Nick Ehlers on the line, and Nick Ehlers starting to walk. And then what I really like to see on that goal, we saw that movement. We saw that creativity that has made this power play so special, where Nick Ehlers actually goes from the goal line where he started that power play to the top of the slot to give Josh Morrissey a safety valve. And he finds that valve. Nick Ehlers rips it, hits the post, and Gabe Vilardi, who, if you're going to pressure up top, the Winnipeg Jets have a solution in one of the best net front scorers in the NHL in Gabe Vilardi, and he jumps all over that rebound, and we're off to the races in Winnipeg. The barn was absolutely buzzing after that goal. And it was Winnipeg from there out for my money, as far as they go up 2-0 later in that period, off who scored the second one tonight? It was Nick Ehlers off the puck luck.
Yeah.
And this was one of those nights. We talked about Mikko Rantanen. There was a vibe that he had felt, or a lot of people had felt, it was one of the luckiest hat tricks you'd see. And there was a lot of puck luck involved in Mikko Rantanen's hat trick, game one. But we were also saying, like, Mikko Rantanen was getting all those places to earn the puck luck. This was one of those nights where Nick Ehlers was doing everything possible to earn the positive luck on his side, gets it on that goal to break the dam open, scores the empty netter, gets the assist on the power play goal, was really using those wheels. And that's where a player like him, the difference from the St. Louis series to this one, where you're going to have that time and space, Nick Ehlers is going to thrive. And I saw Pierogies had mentioned earlier that the Jets are going to need Nick Ehlers going to get this thing going. This is the type of series that I think you could see Nick Ehlers really being a difference maker. The top line's going to get their looks with the time and space. We know how creative and how strong they are when they do get those looks. And we saw some looks from them that were just misses. Like, I think that top line was real close to breaking something open in their own right. But this is the style of hockey, and this is the brand of hockey the Jets need from Nick Ehlers to get offense down their lineup. And I thought this was a great, great showing from Nick Ehlers.
Yeah, just as we, really praised Rantanen for doing the right things, being in the right place, right? You have to be constantly doing those things to get to that opportunity, right? To have those things kind of bounce in and go for you. That's exactly what Ehlers was doing today. He was out there, he was all over the ice. And yeah, just, when you throw shit at the net, sometimes good things happen, and he gets that deflection off of, Esa Lindell, and that's the Lindell that we know and love. So it worked out real well, and that's like Mike F over on Mike Friesen, our friend over on Twitch, says this doesn't even count as Ehlers' breakout. That's still coming, right? This was a good step in that direction, but there's still another level to Nick Ehlers, and I can't wait to see it.
And I want to give Mike a shout out. I saw him on the way into the rink tonight. Him and his boys were bringing the chance and the energy. So shout out Mike. Zooch 40 is saying, I'm telling you, boys, Jets are stealing 2 on the road. And it sounds like Pete DeBoer was having a pretty salty question and answer period today where he told Rennie he should be the coach. Sean Reynolds, I'll sign up for my boy Sean Reynolds coaching if DeBoer's feeling it tonight.
He can hire Rennie as a special assistant. I think he'd be down for that. He'll give you some. I like it. Hey, it's a good idea.
Hey, Rennie knows puck. Might as well get him on
right.
the bench.
Yeah, we love Rennie.
But I like this take from JC too over on YouTube. JC says they underestimated Rantanen in the first game for sure. The rest of the team wasn't doing much else game one. Jets did a great job shutting him down and exposing the rest of the team tonight. This was a game where they kept Mikko Rantanen in check. Jacob Von Lowe also says the boys are doing a great job of shutting down Wyatt Johnson. Haven't heard his name. And that's a guy that has made a name for himself very early in his career. And I got to admit, Wyatt Johnson hasn't stood out to me either. Yep. So that is something to be excited about as well, that at home with the matchup advantage, the Winnipeg Jets showed that they could shut down the top-end talent that Dallas has to offer, which is maybe the big differentiator when looking at the roster. I think the Jets have better depth. I think Dallas's stars are probably a step above. But when the biggest star in the game, the Hart nominee, comes up to play, talk about a great equalizer for the Winnipeg Jets.
Yeah, there's no bigger star than Connor Hellebuck in that in this aspect. So. And the other part of it, too, Caitlin over on YouTube points out it's, honestly weird not having a pair where I'm constantly terrified every time they're on the ice. The Jets had 3 pairs that they could rely on tonight to be reliable, to move the puck. And it just makes such a difference when they have that ability at home, and it'll make a huge difference on the road. They didn't have that against St. Louis, right? In the St. Louis series, they were so focused on the size and the physicality and the where this is going to go that you need the big guys in the lineup. You have to run it that way. So it just, and we talked about the strain it put on the rest of the D because they're only playing 9 minutes of the whole fucking game. And everybody else is playing close to 30. So it makes such a difference where they could roll all 3 pairs, they could roll all the lines and play a full team game, which we've talked all year. That is the Jets' recipe for success. It has to be by committee. And when it is, and when it works, and when Connor Hellebuck is fucking dialed in, this is what you get. You get these dominant performances.
I want to touch on this quickly because I see Kishore is in the chat and says the Jets' PP performance tonight is going to force Dallas to shift their PK strategy. And we are in a 7-game series. We're 2 games in. Both teams have gotten a win. It's one of those nights where you wish that the Jets had taken that game and it was winnable in game 1 to take off a little bit of pressure going into Dallas. But Kishore's been all over this, where me and him had really agreed on last night's show that Dallas's aggressive strategy, especially at the top of a power play, would play into some success for Winnipeg.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, despite our excitement tonight, this is a chess match. So I am very curious to see how Dallas reacts with their PK because I think the Winnipeg Jets found the secret sauce tonight. We were talking about it last night. Work down low, start creating those plays off the line, and it's going to force them to move down, and you're going to work from there and create that space. And we saw the Jets do that at a great level. today. So we're curious to see how this chess match goes of adjustments. And I think that's a spot that the Dallas Stars are going to have to adjust. Another aspect I found interesting tonight, we were talking about the idea that they're going to have to get on Thomas Harley. 26 minutes tonight in a loss. Clearly their guy. I thought he was great again in this night. But I do start to wonder about the idea of where Miro Heiskanen is really at. He's been practicing for about a week and a half now. But when you see a guy ruled out so early in the morning at pregame skate, he's not even questionable. It's like, is he on the horizon, or are we still working to something here? And with the Josh Morrissey ad, Thomas Harley is really it, and they're asking a lot of him here. And if you're going into Dallas, that should continue to be the focal point pending Miro's health here.
Yeah, 100%. Coaches keep everything so quiet this time of year, right? So they'll keep, trotting him out there early and, then pulling him out early. Honestly, yeah, I don't know how close we are. They may feel a little bit of pressure coming off of this one to see if they can get him in quickly. But either way, it was somebody over on YouTube asking that, even if he comes back, this late into the game after this injury, is he going to come back and be, a workhorse D that's going to be able to take over the game right away? You may still have a little bit of time to, again, to steal that first game in Dallas. I think that's their best chance to get another split coming home.
And I see Harrison over on Twitch says this feels like one where Winnipeg is going to run the show on the road. I don't want to get too far ahead there. I'm going with the safe route. I'm predicting a split in Dallas with a best of three riding in Winnipeg. We are going to see some adjustments made. We saw Winnipeg make some adjustments today. They went to the third pairing we were begging for last game. They saw more movement on their power play. They used the bottom of the zone to open things up for the power play. Those are all great adjustments. So shout out to the coaching staff. We were hoping to see some of that. We talked about it last night. I feel really good about how our show aged last night, honestly. We have our times, but I think last night we nailed it. Yep. But now you're going to see Pete DeBoer is no slouch. I'll say this. Pete DeBoer is no slouch. That's still a talented group over there. They have a goalie that looks like he's playing good hockey. We're going to see some matchup adjustments. We're going to see some changes. I don't want to get too high on our horse here. It's a 1-1 series in a best of 7. But I do feel like the Winnipeg Jets have the upper hand based on the first 2 games we've seen. And I do, despite what happened in St. Louis, I just look at the stylistic differences. And the one thing with the Jets I've always been worried about is they don't have the natural puck movers, and I think today we saw their best ability to get up in the zone, whether it be Hayden Fleury using his wheels more than his skating, Josh Morrissey back in the lineup, Sandberg and Pionk continuing to play quality hockey, Colin Miller adding a bit of everything. But we're going to see some adjustments out of Dallas. They're going to play the matchup game a bit differently. They're going to look to free up Mikko Rantanen, as we know. And I do agree with Ethan Oversby here, who says, I think Miro coming back will be transformative for Dallas. You have to think at some point the Dallas other stars wake up and get on the score sheet, and Helly is going to replicate this result. This is a best of 5 now. This is a best of 5 with 2 of the best teams in the West. Let's not get too high, but there's a lot of encouraging things coming out of the first 2 games that should have Winnipeg Jets fans feeling comfortable where these 2 teams stack up, especially systematically. I feel like the Dallas Stars are too loose for a team like Winnipeg, who is so structured, and when they do have puck possession, is so good at taking advantage of seams that I'm really curious to see how Dallas adjusts. But if Miro is back, it does change this series in a way. Even with all this time off, I can't diminish the value of elite hockey players. So that's just the one caution as far as getting too high on this idea that it's going to be a run through Dallas. We're going to see some competitive hockey. This was a great answer back from the Winnipeg Jets. Yeah. If you're a Winnipeg Jets fan, this is exactly what we were all going to the rink, going down to the street parties, going to local bars, going to our friend's house, watching at home, we're hoping to see. And again, this team has continued to answer the bell, but now it's a best of 5. Moving into Dallas, where Pete DeBoer is going to have a bit more control in this series. And Pete DeBoer, to his credit, has been a fairly successful playoff coach outside of winning a cup.
Yeah. I think a lot of the optimism is coming not just from today's game. It's the way that they lost game 1, where you look at it and go, man, that was a coin flip. There was easily multiple opportunities where an Ottinger save, goes the opposite way in one direction, or one of those power plays connects. And then, seeing the difference of having Josh Morrissey back, having that power play finally all back together again. This was, there's so much going into Dallas where you go, man, if they can get that first game in Dallas, especially if there still is no Heiskanen, or you're getting a still slightly beat up Heiskanen in that game, you can pounce, right? And you can steal that game in Dallas and then take home ice advantage back. So, it's hard not to get worked up at this point and real excited, especially if we're going to see this decor and this makeup again.
Yeah, a couple of comments from YouTube. Caitlin says the Stars are a good team and that forward core will win them some games. This is going to be a battle, but I believe the Jets team can win it. And Caitlin is exactly where I'm at. I'm trying to keep it steady here today. I'm trying to keep it steady here tonight. This is going to be a long battle. This is 2 really good hockey teams, but I do genuinely believe that the Winnipeg Jets are the better of the 2 teams when they play their game in this series. Kishore says, if I was DeBoer, I would tap into the St. Louis strategy, crash the net, especially with Ben with the size advantage, played for long tip shots. And I agree with Kishore, but I'll say this when it comes to Dallas. Unless Miro's like the big X factor here, because I do think the Winnipeg Jets, the book is out on how to beat them in the D zone. But the problem Dallas has right now when it comes to beating Winnipeg, where they struggle, and St. Louis exposed it and Colorado exposed it, they only do have one defenseman in the lineup right now capable of playing that brand of hockey, and that is Thomas Harley. You look at the rest of the decor, it's not gifted with guys that can move across the blue line and get pucks to the net. It's not gifted with guys that are natural, offensively inclined defensemen. They're not natural puck movers. Like Esa Lindell, I think, is a quality top 4 NHL defenseman, but he's a defensive guy, and he's running their second power play unit. While Miro Heiskanen is out, I do think it's going to be hard to expose the Jets where the Jets have trouble, that Kishore points out. Get some big bodies like Rantanen and Ben to the net and get some shots to the point with traffic and see what beats Hellebuck. I don't think the Dallas Stars are actually built to take advantage right now where the Winnipeg Jets struggle. I think Heiskanen could change that equation a lot, and we'll keep monitoring where his health is at. But I do think how this series is currently structured, how the Jets play systematic hockey, and the strengths of Dallas, that honestly, leaving tonight, I tip the scales in Winnipeg's favor.
Yeah, absolutely. And Max the Silent over on YouTube says the Cody Ceci disrespect. God, I can't believe you left him out of that.
Also on the chat, Matt Mensforth says, great fucking game. Got to come home with at least a split in Dallas. And that's the goal. Yep. Honestly, as much as the chat wants 2 games in Dallas, the goal should be to come home with a split and come back to this crowd and play a brand of hockey like you just saw. BS 1990 giving me the gears. Thought Lynham was staying off the beers and was all business. Hey, an 8:50 start on a Friday night in Winnipeg with that rink buzzing. We had to tap into it. We had to milk it in a little bit. But this show's been going for a while, and I want to open up those phone lines. I want to hear from you, the audience, and hear the excitement from you, hear your takeaways. So let's move in to the From Financial Faceoff, where we want to talk about what was the tipping point in this game, what were the little details that shifted this game in the direction it went, or potentially what you think is going to make the difference going back to Dallas and what's going to change there. Let's move into the From Financial Faceoff. Let's open up those phone lines and let's hear what the people want to talk about. I want to hear from you.
Right on.
Mikey, before we hand it over to our lovely audience that we love so much, what was your From Financial face-off in this one?
So there's a few obvious ones that I, that we can all kind of see that I kind of tried to maybe stay away from. And then I thought back to what my face-off was from the last game. In the last game, it was the power play and that inability to score on 4 opportunities for the league's best power play that operated at like a 33% chance for us, a big stretch of the season. So if you're getting 4 shots at that one, you got to be putting one of those goals in, and 1 goal would have made the difference in that last game. So again, today, I'm going to say that the From Financial face-off for me was the power play, but in a positive way. They got to start the game off like 30 seconds in, Morrissey taking that stick to the face and the double minor. The old crew's back together. They got the gang ready to go. And that we talked about it earlier, that Gabe Velarde potting on the doorstep like that is just absolute classic Jets power play. And it set the tone for the rest of the evening. It felt from that point on that there was no way that the Jets were going to lose this game. So for me, it was the response, getting the band back together. The power play was the difference for me tonight.
I like that one from you as well. And hey, I'm a man of the people. Shout out to Tanner and Tal tuning in, who just gave me a text here. They just got big night for a couple people I know. Just got engaged today and then watched the Winnipeg Jets take over that W. Shout out Tanner and Tal tonight on this night of excitement. But I do want to you stole my From Financial. We got to go back to figuring this out beforehand. I do think that 4-minute power play at the beginning of the game was a bit of a differential here, where it's one of those momentum moments, right? If the Dallas Stars kill that 4-minute right off the bat, you're feeling a little bit different. They're probably going to turn that over. But the power play goes from 0 for 4 last game to starting this game off hot. Nick Ehlers finding his level, probably a difference maker here. Connor Hellebuyck being Connor Hellebuyck and making sure nothing got by him in his shutout tonight to make sure that Dallas didn't gear up some momentum. Puck movement on that power play being a differential. Keeping Dallas's skilled forwards to 23, 24 shots. There's a lot of good here. So I'm going to start diving into the chat where formally says the From Financial is Winnipeg found their game, their structure, and they stayed there. Can't disagree with that one tonight.
Absolutely.
Tico Napali's in the chat, and I'm wondering if he's going to call in and give us some fired up lessons tonight. And
the mayor is here.
The mayor of Transcona is in the chat here late tonight, past his bedtime. Says that the From Financial Faceoff is Helly shutout and PP confidence heading out on the road to Little D. And I gotta say, this is how confident I'm feeling that the Winnipeg Jets are taking one in Dallas.
Yep.
They talk about how everything is bigger in Dallas. The losses are sure going to be big for the Dallas Stars back home. Winnipeg's taking one a game 3 or 4. I believe it here.
Absolutely. I'm not afraid of the Stars building. The St. Louis one is different, right? They just had a cup. They know what it's like. They're feeding on that. They wanted it. There's a whole generation in Dallas who's never even seen that cup action like that. So I think we'll be fine going in there.
I see over on Twitch, Smoke Sigs Inside.
Shout out. First time chatter. Welcome in.
Welcome to the show, saying having PP1 is absolutely massive. Velarde and his big ass is a massive advantage out front.
Fuck yeah.
And this is one of the best net front guys in the NHL. And with Dallas being so pressure heavy up north, what I saw from the power play today is the Jets were looking to get pucks to the net, and they knew they had the numbers advantage to go to those rebounds or retrieve those pucks in the corners and work from those corners that really started to stretch them out and make Dallas think twice. Definitely great to see the power play back.
Yep.
Matty Wins says, over on the East Coast, our boy Matty's grinding grinding at this late hour. Says the From Financial Faceoff is an awesome response by Ehlers tonight. Feels like he's been unlocked, similar to how Perfetti showed up in the last series. Let's keep her rolling. And just to parlay off that, we still haven't seen Cole Perfetti at his best after a great round one, as something to potentially look forward to on the road as this series continues. Jacob says, From Financial Faceoff is the vintage heli. Love to fucking see it, which Kishore also parlays off of with, I loved preserving the shutout for heli. He wanted it badly, and look out if he gets locked. And I got to say, we saw him pretty dialed in game one. I have trouble putting any of those goals on him. And then we see him do this. And it's time to remember, when we're talking about the Dallas's top-end talent up front, I'm probably taking their stars slightly ahead of Winnipeg's. But guess what? Dallas Stars don't have a Hart nominee.
No.
The Dallas Stars don't have the MVP, which those chants in-house give me chills. Yep. Give me chills. And it looks like the Winnipeg Jets MVP has found his game again, and talk about a difference maker as he stares across at his backup for the national team.
It's incredible, right? You look at Hellebuck during the regular season and then the shakiness during the St. Louis series, and you know that it's all mental, right? This was something that he was battling through, whether it's, a crisis of confidence or whatever it is. There's just something that he was mentally having to overcome during that series. And for a guy that feeds off of the energy so much in that building, and you can tell, right? You can see it in the interviews. You can see it on his face. To have those chants raining down on him, it absolutely has to be just feeding into him. And I hope he can really just take all that in, because they mean it, right? When those chants are chanting that down, that's true. Like that's the MVP right there. You got to give that guy the heart. We've been calling for it all year, and it's going to be incredible when they etch his name on that one.
Luke, our boy Luke, good to see you, Luke, in the chat. Jets played it like they were in the regular season game as far as his From Financial Faceoff. And it's interesting. I was talking to our boy. We were talking about our friend of the show, Dimitri, today. And I was talking to him this morning. He had rewatched game one, and he'd reach out, and he's like, honestly, felt pretty good about where the Jets are at in this one. And the idea of the Jets playing a regular season game versus Dallas didn't really scare him, because if you remember the regular season, the Jets handled the Dallas Stars pretty well, given Scott Arniel's rant there. Our boy, Harjivana Parwana, says, From Financial is my glorious, majestic, tall, angler, MVP, Carter Hardebuck. And we might be running with the phrase hella back on this night, because he is definitely back there. I see Chase over on YouTube says, I was hoping someone was going to get a Hattie, so my From Financial Faceoff could be those KFC buckets raining down on CLC. And I gotta say,
that would be
I was hoping for a Kyle Connor hat trick, so we could have poured down these bucket hats. This might become a regular wear to the old CLC, where it was suggested I look like a garden gnome tonight for wearing it. But hey, let's go.
That's good, yeah.
I see our boy Blake's over on Twitch saying the Jets need to play good away, and I think it'll be different from St. Louis. And I sure hope so, because I know our boy Blake took some trauma being down in St. Louis for those road games. But he also says, I love how I don't have any family stress this round as well. I'm hoping Blake brought his dad onto the Jets bandwagon for this stretch. T. Kona does say we still need to see Helly do it on the road. I'm going to say, I was hard on Connor Hellebuck. That's my GOAT, but I was telling it how it is in round one. That wasn't Connor Hellebuck at his best.
Yep.
That was the Connor Hellebuck at his lowest so far in his NHL career. I truly believe that. What I've just seen from the last two games, I'm betting on my GOAT, the Hardebuck, the Helleback. He's going to go steal one in Dallas where he outshines Jake Ottinger, and we could put to rest the Frank Saravellis of the world. Oh, Jake Ottinger's the Olympic starter. Spare me. The Olympic starter is going to go down to Big D, whip out the Big D, and steal one in Dallas. You heard it here first. You heard about the Sandberg defensive game last night. You heard about the Ehlers and Velarde are going to produce for this team. Guess what? Connor Hellebuck's going down to Big D. He's whipping it out, and he's stealing one in Dallas, and we're coming home feeling pretty good about ourselves. Get excited about Sunday afternoon. I'm telling you.
Don't call it a Connor Hellebuck. He's been here for years.
Yeah, he just disappeared for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He just disappeared for 2 weeks.
Shout out LL Cool J.
We're putting the Nik Lynam guarantee on this. So let's hope this ages well. I don't need the shit, okay? I see our boy Mo, our friend Mo. We're leaving it at our boy Mo.
Our friend
says, finally nice to have a game where we could sort of just relax and enjoy the game. Didn't need any last-second heroics tonight. Just glide into Dallas on Sunday. And I do think that's important. I do think to this day, I believe it's going to be a competitive – there's probably going to be more one-goal games than blowouts like this in this series. But to see the Jets at home in a game that I would consider a can't-lose. This wasn't a must-win, but this was one of those can't-loses.
Can't-lose, yep.
This was definitely a can't-lose. The Winnipeg Jets leave no doubt about it, from a shutout from their guy to Nick Ehlers getting 3 points, Gabe Velarde breaking the goalless streak, and just getting great performances up and down the lineup. We'll see you in Big D, man. We'll see you in Big D. I'm ready. I'm ready for the Mother's Day afternoon affair here.
Calling the shot now. I love it.
I'm calling it. They're taking one of game 3 or 4. I don't care. They're taking one of game 3 and 4. And you know what? Our boys each 40, maybe they take 2. But I'm calling a split here. We're going the distance. This is going to be worthwhile. Tico Napoli says, like gliding into a hot landing strip. And we're feeling hot today. We're definitely feeling hot today after that game. Lucas Trapp says, we don't like 9:30 starts in Ontario. Also, absolute disrespect by the league to the Prime Minister's Trophy winners.
Prime Minister's Trophy.
I got to say, I mean, the TV contracts, unfortunately, outlive or outbear our desires. But a Friday night in Winnipeg is just asking for the vibes. In this town, you want to get the beers flowing. You want to let people in this town get home from work and have a few hours to pregame. You're going to get the energy you saw in that rink. So you know what? I think it worked out pretty damn well on this night.
Yep, I think that's okay. We'll take these late games if we keep winning them. So no problems by me.
So what's your Mikey? We're getting no calls today. I thought this would be a fired up call night from the crew.
Everybody's happy and celebrating. Nobody's got a call, but yeah, 1-204-800-0409. Get on the line, guys. It's the landing strip.
What are you looking for going into Dallas? What are you looking for from both Dallas and Winnipeg? What stands out to you leaving this game?
I'm real interested to see. Oh, hey, here we go. We've got our friend Luke in Atlanta.
Oh, our boy. Let's go.
Hey there, Luke. You're on the landing strip. What would you like to talk about?
I think one of the best things about the playoffs is that you just have so many storylines you can talk about, whether it's Hayden Fleury stepping up big time over the past 3 games, whether it's Colin Miller back, whether it's just Scott Arniel making the right adjustments. But I think what I want to talk about are the stars in the game. Not the Dallas Stars, of course, but the stars in the game. Those are the players that decide, that make or break a playoff run. And really, when you look at it, Rantanen stole game 1 for the Stars in the second period. And I would argue that Hellebuck made just like the same amount of impact as Rantanen did in the second period of tonight's game. I mean, he made some amazing saves in the second period, and God, it's so nice to have a back end that you can rely on again.
Hey, Luke, always nice to hear from you, my man. And it definitely, Connor Hellebuck deserves a lot of praise. At 2-0, he made some monster saves, and we know how this sport works, right? they say the 2-goal lead's the worst lead in hockey, and you let that Dallas team get a little momentum, a little confidence with those stars, and who knows where this goes. So I like the idea that Connor Hellebuck was as impactful in this one as Mikko Rantanen as far as stopping some of that quality of chance. And I got to say, was Mikko Rantanen playing tonight? I didn't notice Mr. Mikko Rantanen tonight. What about you, Luke? Did you see him out there?
I mean, I saw Miller every second.
Hey, look, I don't know what's going on with the connection there. I can't hear you, buddy. You lost the connection here. I don't know if it's a little off.
Oh, I think we
I'm
lost
getting
Luke.
nothing.
Yep, we lost Luke. But give us a quick call back, Luke. We'll grab you back on.
Oh yeah, get Luke back in here. I want to celebrate with my guy from Atlanta. This guy's been on this journey since 2009. Let's get Luke back in here.
Hey, Luke, you're back on with us. No, we can't hear you on our side here, Luke.
Something's going on with that service down in. We thought Winnipeg had bad service according to NHLers. I'm not hearing you, Luke, unfortunately.
No, things we lost Luke again for right now.
Hey, that's okay. That's okay. We'll keep her riding. We'll keep her rolling. Lucas Trapp says, I'm looking for the exact same lineup game 3. And how do you change a lineup like this after getting what you did there from the group? You can make the tweaks in-game. I think a lot of people know one of the tweaks most people want to look. But, hey, after a win like that, let's keep her rolling.
Absolutely. You ready for Blake in St. Louis?
Let's hear from our boy Blake.
Hey, Blake, you're on the landing strip.
What's going on, boys? What a night.
What a night.
What a night. And your dad's on board, eh? He's riding with the Jets?
Yeah, he's riding with the Jets now. Yeah, even before the Jets and Blues series, we would always, because obviously I would have to watch it on ESPN Plus, and the Blues are on here on our own home network, so we'd really watch games together. I'd watch some of the Blues games. He'd watch some of the Jets games. So funny enough, he's actually a really big Kyle Connor guy. He likes Josh Morrissey and Kyle Connor a lot, and Nikolai Ehlers a little bit. But yeah, I guess I'll just talk about really the game overall, and there's nothing you can really complain about. Jets came out hot, got a good start, even with the double minor, and the power play at first, it was ticking down, and I thought it was going to be a waste. And funny enough, they did a decent job, and Velarde and Ehlers getting on the board tonight, and that's what the Jets were missing the last couple games, to be honest. And it's good to see them both getting their strides, and I was really pleased with just Ehlers and how he was moving the puck, and with not as many turnovers, and Velarde looked like he was skating a little better even. So I'm liking that they're getting their game back in, since of course, both of them missed a decent amount of time, and really good. Connor Hellebuck looks like himself again. I'm really pleased about that, and let's hope he can take that on the road with him. And because we still haven't seen an away win, but like we've been saying, I feel totally confident in the Jets, and I really do think it'll be a different series as well with the crowd and just overall. St. Louis, I think Mikey said it earlier, or I don't know if it was you or Mikey, one of you guys said St. Louis got a cup, and they've kind of felt that before. So that's a really good point. And I don't know what it was with Connor Hellebuck in getting his head trip with St. Louis, but in Dallas and the Blues are just a little different with body physique. So they will have a little harder time getting to Connor Hellebuck. Like I saw Colin Miller and Hayden Fleury do a really good job boxing a lot of guys out of the blue paint tonight. It was very visual. So, yeah, no, I just wanted to call and talk about that a little bit. And nothing really I can complain about for the first time, I think. And that's really good to hear considering we're in round 2 and about to go on the road. And I'm really confident in them. So, it's a pretty good night.
Yeah, a couple of things for you here, Blake. Hard to disagree with anything you just said. And Ehlers and Velarde and them producing, we know it's big for this team. There's 4 or 5 offensive producers that they need going, and not getting goals from Ehlers and Velarde is a problem for the Jets, and they answered that bell today. While you're on here, Blake, though, I got to ask you, Tico Napoli in the chat is asking, what made Blake a Jets fan? Let's hear your Jets fandom stories from St. Louis before we move on here.
Yeah. So back, my family's originally from St. Louis, Missouri, but my dad had an adopted brother, and he was from Manitoba, Winnipeg, Manitoba, and he was ever since he was adopted really young, and he was only one adopted out of the family, but he was a big hockey fan growing up with my obviously my dad's brother. So my dad was a big Blues fan, and he was a big Jets fan. When I can't remember the league before they were in the NHL. I can't remember the name of it, but he just followed the Jets forever per se. And when I met him back, not when I met him, but when we started to get really close again, and I believe in 2009 or 2010, and it was just really weird. I never was a big Blues guy. I didn't. I don't know why. I loved hockey, always did. Played it, always grew up playing hockey, but just never really got into the Blues. And he kind of took me under his wing when Winnipeg got back into the league. And what really made me like Winnipeg was, funny enough, this is going to be a weird one, but Evander Kane.
Okay.
I just, for some reason, had I really liked Evander Kane as a rookie. And I don't know, it was just so weird. I was young, and I just had he was my favorite player, and I loved Dustin Byfuglien. I remember when Andrew Ladd came as captain, and just Brian Little, all the old crew, basically. And I just really loved all those guys and their style of play. And I'll never forget the Dustin Byfuglien and Evander Kane locker shower situation. And around that time, I'd say I got really big into the Jets. And ever since then, I don't think I've ever, since every time they went to St. Louis, I would go to the games with my dad and or friends. And, ever since then, basically. And unfortunately, my dad's brother passed away, so really I've been I have the torch now, really, with the Jets and the family. So it's just a cool little thing, and I'll always be a Jets fan forever, and that's why, man. My dad saw a cup a couple of years ago. That's why I'm really it's a good time for the Jets.
Hey, it's time to reward you. That's an awesome story, and I'm glad you got to share. And I got to say, I went to the game with one of my buddies. His name's Zaz, probably the only Zaz in the world. And he listens to the show, and I got to let you know while you're on here, he's a big fan of every time you call in. So we really appreciate the fact that you did get so in to the Winnipeg Jets, that you're part of this community, and you get to be on this ride with us. And I think it's time for the small market, smallest in the league, to put the league on notice and maybe end that Canadian Cup drought.
Yeah, no, for sure. I love the show, of course. Yeah, I love everyone calling in and giving their expressions and opinions, because everyone really, to be honest with you, I don't think I've heard any dumb calls on the show. And that's crazy to say because even some people can give just even really just not valid opinions or anything, but everyone knows what they're saying. They all speak hockey. They love the Jets too, and and you guys run it really good, and the show's been taking off, and it's awesome to see. So I'll be here for the long run too, and for sure though about the small market. I mean, wouldn't it be awesome to see the Winnipeg Jets just to be the face of the NHL for a year? So I mean, it'd be awesome. But yeah, I'll let, if anyone else wants to call or not, I'll let you guys go. And what a night, guys, for real. Like, this couldn't have been any better, and great show for the night, for real. I appreciate you guys.
Hey, we appreciate you being here every single night, getting to chat with you. It was great to hear your story on your background. You have a great rest of your night, and let's keep this train rolling, baby.
Let's go, boys. Go Jets, go. Take care.
Thanks, Blake.
Go Jets, go. Where I wanted to get to this point. Luke, our boy from Atlanta, says, sorry for the bad connection. I was going to say Rantanen was getting pounded in the corner by Pionk and Miller all game. Really amazing team effort. So that's what he had wanted to get in. Let's get there. Francisco Garcia says money phone in relation to Blake's love for Evander Kane. And I got to say, Evander Kane had his problems. I was a big Evander Kane fan. And I got to say, when Top Line J, when Jordan was really young, probably 10 years old, 2010, 2011, the Jets came back, 11 years old. I had just started kind of using social media and Twitter. I would have been, 15, 16? Fuck, I've been on that shitty app for that long.
God.
I'm absolutely addicted to it now. It's a bit of a problem, but it's helped make this happen. On Christmas, because of the money phone pick, Jordan had gotten a bunch of gift cards for Christmas, and he was posing like the money phone. And I don't know if it's still in my account, because when I was trying to get jobs out of university, I deleted a ton of tweets. But I had a pic of Jordan at 11 years old with his gift cards at Christmas, posing as the money phone, and I tweeted at Evander Kane, and he had actually quote retweeted, giving my boy Jordan some love. Obviously, his personality and character hasn't gone the way that's necessarily braggable, but I get the love for him at the time. Also wanted to point out, where was I? There was a couple of comments here. Actually, I got a question for you, Mikey.
Hit me.
Over on YouTube, where was it here? I'm trying to find it. Someone had asked, I think it was formerly, had asked, it's too early. It's too early. About who you'd prefer with Vegas and Edmonton. I don't want to get into that. It's too early. We gotta get
counting your chickens before they hatch.
I know. I'm reading the comments and I'm just like, it's too early. As I was reading it out, I'm like, you can't. It's a 1-1 series.
Obviously, I want Edmonton because I want to beat the Oilers. That's just as every Okay, so we got to have a nice moment that we found out that you were 12 when the team came back or whatever. For us old people here, we remember the Oilers beating the shit out of the Jets all the time and hearing stories about that. So,
I was 16.
We've lost your camera to the side there. You're gonna have to slide us back over, Nick.
I was 16 when the team came back.
I
was 16.
Perfect.
I was 16. I was 16. I was not 12.
So, and I'm sure for going back even farther, right, back to the WHA days, there's a lot of fans, I think, that would like to see the Jets beat the Oilers, something they've never been able to do. They've gotten so close so many times with the 1.0 group that I think that would help, dispel some demons from that. But on the other hand, Vegas gives you the more current kind of mini rival we've built up. So. And formerly says he didn't ask that, so this is slander now. Unbelievable.
Okay, someone else asked it in the chat. I'm sorry, that's on me. The chat's moving too quick for me on this night.
And we've got a first-time chatter, Festinator, over on Twitch. Hour late, but let's go, boys. Welcome in, Festinator.
And let's go. I like that energy coming into the chat with a first-time chatter like that. Our boy Stovey over on YouTube said, had a Leafs and Jets parlay, but I'm happy to lose my money with this W. And I almost ran the same parlay. I didn't do it today. I almost ran the same. And I got to say, I'm starting to get the vibe that we might get an all-Canadian Stanley Cup final. I think the Leafs are going to get there, and it's going to be Edmonton or Winnipeg. I'm really starting to believe it.
Winnipeg versus Toronto. Can you imagine?
I didn't say that yet.
Heads would explode. Heads would explode. Oh my God, the riots.
Talk about age gap, though. Tico Napoli says, LOL, I was 12 when 1.0 expanded.
Oh, God. Thank God I'm not the old person. Woo.
I don't even know if my grandparents were thinking about my parents at that point. Holy Ticona.
So if the Jets played the Leafs in the final in a hypothetical world,
hey, we're not going there yet.
No, hold up. How many Leafs jerseys do you think would be in the building at a Jets game?
We would have home games of dueling chants, 50-50 the entire series. Yeah,
there'd be a lot, right? That'd be crazy.
I gotta say, as much as it's annoying, I love the vibe of a dueling chant.
Oh, absolutely.
Harjivana shares a good story. Yeah, I agree. Peliskin, don't jinx it. We're not talking about this. We got to stop talking about this.
You brought it up.
I know, and I realized when I was talking about that I was an idiot. It's a 1-1 series. We feel good about it. I'm still predicting a full 7 games here. I still believe this is going to be a full 7-game series here. Sorry. We're not getting ahead. We've had a few beers. We're reading the chat. We're not getting ahead. It's a 1-1 series. Nice little story from Harjivan, sorry. I had an A. I'm so bad with names.
Top line off the rails.
Yeah, off the rails. We're completely. And see, Geeky Vapor. Thank you, Geeky Vapor. Let's take it one round at a time. Thank you. I've had a couple of beers. I'm reading the chat, trying to create conversation. Let's take it one round at a time. Let's take it one game at a time. It's a 1-1 series. It's a 1-1 series going back to Dallas, okay? Okay?
Are you sure? I thought we won the cup tonight. Hold on. Wait.
We got home ice advantage back tonight, but let's settle it down a little bit here. No, did we get home ice advantage?
No, we didn't. We still have to get the one in Dallas.
Sorry, I'm all over it. We're gonna take one in Dallas.
We're taking that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's rein it back in. It's 1:30. Let's rein it back in here. I wanted to share this Harjivan story. My dad met Timo at a bar back in the day and bought him a drink. Super great and down-to-earth guy whose girlfriend was going to U of W at the time. And those are the type of stories you like to hear. And that's how the sport gets passed down generations as well. Choices TK points is out. If we're not getting ahead, if we got to a Leafs versus Jets Stanley Cup that I could buy my season tickets for 3 years if I sold them. Guess what? I'm proclaiming it here. I will be at every home game during this run, even if it means not going to Ireland. So that's what's on the line for me here. And I'll say this, we're going to have to figure something out to replace the Ireland trip, pending who the opponent is. I don't know if I want to travel down south.
Yeah.
I might take a trip for game 3 and 4 to replace the Ireland trip. I might do it.
It'll definitely cost the airfare to go to Europe on the ticket. So yeah,
I'm thinking about it. That might be the pivot for me, so we can keep this vibe going. That might be my pivot.
That's the way to do it. You want to talk about making a memory?
I'm thinking about it. That's how good I feel about this team right now.
And T. Ponapoli says, and you go there and he'll go to Shannon's Irish Pub.
Hey, at this hour, we're starting to get into some whack stuff. We gotta rein it in. We gotta reel it in. Let's move up to the 3 stars. But Luke, if the Carolina series happened, I'll come meet you down there. Let's go to a game together if that happened. I'll make that happen.
Ooh.
Well, let's set that up in the DMs. It's public here. It is live. If a Winnipeg Carolina thing happens, me and Luke are going to a game together.
Done.
I'll make that. I'll make that guarantee.
We're making it. I like it. You all heard it here first.
And Fascinator says, split in Dallas. Jets take Game 5 and Game 6. You heard it here first. I kind of dig it.
I love
I
it.
kind of dig it.
I love it. Let's do it.
But let's get into the 3 stars. Mikey's going to do the great intro that he made. Let us know who your 3 stars are in the chat. We're going to dive into ours on this night. Let's get into the 3 stars and move on with this show.
Right on.
Right on. Mikey, who are your 3 stars in this one?
So there's a lot of guys you could give out a star to tonight. There's really good performances up and down the lineup. I'm going to take a page out of Nick Lynam's book before I do my 3 stars and give an honorable mention, a shout out to the third pairing in general. They didn't make it onto my 3-star list just because there was a lot of guys, like I said, but I do want to make sure they get that shout out one more time. That was exactly what the Jets needed tonight to spread it out, and I really hope we get to see more of it when we get into Dallas. So they're my honorable mention. Number 3, I went with the captain, Adam Lowry. You know, there was a few games ago we were talking about how, you know, it doesn't matter that, you know, you're working with some injuries. You might be banged up, you know, things aren't feeling well, but at the end of the day, you're one of the most important guys on the team. They need you to produce. And since that point, he's been absolutely productive. He has found the ability to get out there, get on the scoreboard. So Adam Lowry getting my 3rd star. Number 2, Dylan Samberg. We didn't get a chance to talk too much about him tonight, but I thought this was a great game from Dylan Samberg. Him and Pionk in general have looked really good. Pionk's, you know, really trying to earn that next contract for us just in this one playoff run. But I thought Samberg again tonight, especially in the first half of the game, was completely dialed in and was ready to go. So, and number 1, it's obvious. It's Connor Hellebuck. Another MVP performance from the guy we've been calling to get that award all year. This is the Connor Hellebuck that is going to get you to a cup. This is the Connor Hellebuck that maybe, you know, after a disastrous first round, can get himself still into a Conn Smythe conversation if this is the performances going forward. Yeah, that's my number 1 star.
Over on YouTube, we got a few entries. Maddie Wynn says, number 1, Helly, 2, Ehlers, 3, Fleury. T. Conapoli says, Helly, Ehlers, J-Mo. Love Stovey's answers here. I love when someone throws a little twist into it. Stovey has Connor Hellebuck, or Connor Helly, Luke Shen, and Stanislaw. And hey, if Arneil's listening to this show after last night's show, this is not a Luke Shen series. This is not a Logan Stanley series. Let's keep this rolling. Festinator has 3rd star Arneil for sitting Shen and Stanley.
Yes.
Agreed. I
Actually,
like that entry.
I'm going to amend mine right now. So it's, Connor Hellebuck, you're getting bumped to number 2. Scott Arneil, you get number 1 star for actually going and making the... No, I'm not even kidding. This is something they needed to do. This is a tough decision for a guy that is worried about where his standing is with the players in the room. It's very evident all year that he's been trying to manage relationships while also trying to manage a team. And to do this in a playoff series where you know that those 2 guys are going to struggle. They're going to have a tough time, and you can't rely on them late in games or for more than half of the game. So at that point, to go in and say, you know what, fuck it, we're going to roll with the lineup that is going to give us the best chance to win. No, Scott Arneil gets my number 1 star tonight. Thank you, Festinator, for that, because fuck yeah.
Festinator's 2nd star was Nick Ehlers, beauty. 1st star, Helly, big dog, got his mojo back. And yeah, you know what? I like giving Scott Arneil some credit there because we were calling for it. Maybe we'll give ourselves some credit. As much as we like to play both sides, we like to give criticism where it's due.
Yep. And
we like to celebrate the good. Scott Arneil was listening to the landing strip boys, and it pays off. You know what? Credit Scott Arneil for being a fan.
Absolutely. Friend of the show.
Scott Arneil, new friend of the show. Harsh Yvonne says, Scott, after game 1 being vocal about a lack of effort and making the needed changes, let's go Arnie. And I was getting some DMs today after. This is how excited people were to see the 3rd pair and Scott willing to make an adjustment we haven't seen him make. I was getting people begging me to start an Arnie chant. That's how serious people were about the
I'm
third
in.
pair.
Let's do it. Let's go, Arnie. I want it. I want it next time. Let's go. Get him the Jack Adams. He gets the Jack Adams just for sitting Stanley and Shen in this game. Give him the Jack Adams now. He deserves it.
Geeky Vapor says Coach of the Year, and I do think he's going to finish second, but deserving of the praise.
Yep.
Stovey says, did you hear Coach DeBoobie's post-gamer? I have not, and I'm looking forward
Can't
to
wait.
it based on some of the comments in the chat. I'm going to go 3 stars tonight. 3 stars tonight. We'll do an honorable mention. Arniel listens to the show and makes the adjustments that this show is hoping for. He's going to get an honorable mention. But we're going to go 3rd star, Dylan DeMello. I really think this was one of his best defensive efforts, doing the little aspects within a game that really tipped the scales. In a game that the details matter, this was a performance from Dylan DeMello that I thought was him showing his best. So I'm going to go. And Mikey, you know what? Can you find the DeBoer clips while I'm doing this? Because Stovey wants a live reaction of them if possible. You know what? We're going to give the people what we want. Well, let's go through DeBoer's comments after I finish the 3 stars here. Let's do a live react. 2nd star on this night. He's the heart. He's the MVP. He's the Jets' greatest player of all time. Connor Hellebuck with the shutout, and in gorgeous fashion at that. He looked big and boring when he needed to be. He looked athletic when he needed to be. That's my GOAT, and he is back. The Connor Hellebuck tour. And I saw Zooch 40 was making an interesting comparison earlier, where Zooch 40 was saying, I'm telling you, this is 100% Shades of Luongo 2011. Sucked round 1, but got through it and took the Nucks on his back after that to the finals. And I love that from our guy, Zooch. Let's give him those props. And I'm going to go number 1. Nik Ehlers, welcome to the playoffs, buddy. 3 points, using those wheels to create the adjustment on the PP for him to go from the low to being that support valve for Josh Morrissey, getting the puck luck, and then sealing this one with an empty netter. Let's give Nik Ehlers the flowers. We know the playoffs have been a struggle at times. That looked like the impact player we know it could be. And I agree with Julian. Don't need to see Shannon Stanley again. Not in this series. Do you have the DeBoer clip? Let's get some live reactions to the DeBoer clip if you're ready.
All right, give me 1 sec here. I got it pulled up.
Apparently he went after my guy, Sean. And if
hear
you
what
went
he has
after
to
my
say.
guy, if you went after my guy, Rennie, I'm going to have to go after Pete DeBoer here. Let's see what we have to see here.
To ask a question. Mike.
So what was your take on that one? Obviously the penalty.
Oh, I can't hear again, by the way.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, you can't hear it, Nick?
I can't hear it.
Okay, give me
Apparently I'm going to love this, so I hope I can hear it.
let me
Pete
see here.
DeBoer post.
I got you. Oh, okay, here we go. I got you. I'll pull it up here for you.
Let me know when it's playing.
Yeah, sorry, the thing here just stopped up for 1 sec. There we
Let's,
go.
let's
Okay.
hear what Pete DeBoer had to say after this one. I'm excited, especially if he's pissy. Especially if he's pissy.
This should be fun.
I'd be
you
pissy
start the
too if I
game,
could win all these game 7s and
you know,
can't
with
get
a
a
4-minute
Stanley Cup.
minor,
Can you
10
hear that?
seconds
I'd be
in.
pissy too if Paul Maurice was my best friend in the industry and that's who I lean on.
All right,
Let's hear pissy Pete
Let's see if
DeBoer.
you can hear this.
Question. Mike.
So what was your take on that one? Obviously the penalties were hard, especially early.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you
you
hear
start the game, you know, with a 4-minute minor, 10 seconds in. They score on the power play, and then you know one
we got
goes
it,
off
Mikey?
our own skate into the net. You're down 2.
Yep, are you able to hear it?
Maddie wins with the "Why you so pissy, Pete?" Yeah, we need the Edmonton Pete on this one.
Were you not able to? You can't hear it there still, Nick?
I can't hear nothing
Nope.
on my end.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I'll send you the link here, and I'll play it for everybody so you can hear it at the same time,
Okay, sounds good. You send me the link. Let's see this.
and we'll pull it up on the screen for everybody as well.
Yeah, you put it up and I'll listen to it on my own here. Send me the link. I want to hear Pissy DeBoer now. That's just going to make my night better on the way out.
Right. It'll be a nice way to close out the evening. We can see him kind of throw a little bit of a fit here.
Text or email?
Email.
Okay. Top line email?
Yep.
Okay, it hasn't come through yet. He was really pissy to Reynolds, apparently, to the chat. Hey, we're going to have to go off on my boy Pete DeBoer. He's not my guy. Okay, I got the ad going. We're about to watch it on YouTube. Let's get a live react to Pete DeBoer.
All right, let me pull it up here 1 sec.
So what was your take on that one? Obviously, the penalties were hard, especially early.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you start the game.
What is this attire he's wearing? Come on.
10 seconds in.
Come on.
Right.
2-0. You know, I don't know how many minutes into the game. That's a big hole in this rink. So, you know, self-inflicted. The
It is a
one,
big
the
hole
other
in this
one's
rink, you're right,
kind of
Pete.
unlucky.
You don't want to give the Canada Life
having
Center a
said
lead.
that, I thought we pushed hard in the second to try and climb back in the game. Hellebuck made some saves. You know, we get one there. You know, maybe the momentum shifts, but that was the game.
Yeah, maybe the momentum shifts, but you
Clearly,
didn't get one beat.
Don't need you to
That's
tell us
Hardebuck
what you
you're
need to
dealing
do
with.
to solve the problem. But when your team is in a position where most of
There we
them,
go.
when the team's in a position where most of them are trying
problem?
to break out of their own zone, is flipping it to center ice and trying to get out of that. What can be done to maybe get cleaner zone exits and more possession of the puck?
You thought that was our problem? Maybe you should apply for the coaching job.
I'm not trying to apply for the puck. Okay, how do you
Next
solve
question.
flipping the puck to center
Next
ice?
question. Go ahead.
Wow.
Next question.
Wow, Pete, come on.
Any
Come on. Your
non-coaches
team
in
has
here?
a problem
Any
moving the puck.
non-coaches in here, he asks.
Hey,
Come
Leah.
on, Pete. That
Wow.
is, come on. If you just watch that game, I'm sorry, Pete, to be that disrespectful after a game like that to a fair question about the problems you deal with on that back end. Thomas Harley's the only one that can move a puck. If anything, Rennie's guiding him the right way for adjustments, and he's not happy. Pete, keep bringing that energy. Keep bringing that energy, and it might be 3-1 leaving Dallas. You know what? You know what, Pete? Pete, this is why you don't have a cup. This is why you don't have a cup. You can't even identify what's going wrong with your team in a game that was mostly the Winnipeg Jets. Connor Hellebuck made some saves, but I'm sorry. The Winnipeg Jets were so much better. Pete, time to sleep this one off and to get over this one. I'm sorry. I'm on Team Rennie here. I'm on Team Rennie.
Oh, that's
It's
what
a
you
fair
think, eh?
question.
Oh, all right. Are there any
Yeah.
non-coaches in the chat we can talk to? Jeez.
Is there any non-coaches wanting to talk about this game?
How dare you point out our very obvious and blatant issue tonight and ask me about it? Ugh. God.
You think that's the problem? I think it was a big problem. I think it's part of your problem.
Maybe. Why don't you tell me why it wasn't then? Tell me why it wasn't. Right? Here's your opportunity to tell me why that wasn't a problem. Holy fuck, Pete. God damn.
That's good. I love spicy coaches, but come on, Pete. Let's have some self-reflection here.
Like a reasonable question. I like a spicy coach when they're getting some type of bullshit, but like a super reasonable question and a smart question on top of it too. Yeah, that's a joke. Get out of here, Pete.
But hey, I enjoyed this night as we hit the 1:45 hour. I want to thank you all for being here, being a part of this show, continuing to see the growth. We hit some great milestones this week, and we owe it all to you. Hit that 500 mark we were chasing on YouTube. Next step might not happen this playoff run, but maybe it will. We want to get to 4 digits next. Time to double this thing up. We had our first 1,000-view video, Game 4. Probably a Hall of Fame episode with the mental breakdowns from everybody from the St. Louis game. That was a ton of fun. And I just want to continue to thank you all for being here, tuning into this show, spending your time with us, being involved in the conversations, reaching out on the chat, in the social DMs, at the rink. This has been a ton of fun, and I continue to look forward to experience the ride with all of you. Make sure to be a friend. Tell a friend that you enjoy this part of your Winnipeg Jets game day experience. And we'll see you Mother's Day Sunday afternoon, 3:30 start. And we'll be back Sunday evening to talk Winnipeg Jets hockey. You have a great Friday night. You have a great weekend, and we'll see you Sunday.
Good night, everybody.